Hello everybody. Alright, so just before we get going on the full video, I just want to give you a short little video on a couple of things. When we think about Pilates, we think about three main factors: alignment, breathing and centering. So ABCs, if you want to put it like that. It sounds elementary, but actually it's quite important. That's the foundation from which you work on all the time when you're doing your exercises. So alignment, first one. So we've got to think about our spine. We've got to think about this position of our spine when we're lying down, on our back, on our side, on our front, where we're sitting, standing and moving around. So if we think about our framework, forming the shoulders and the hips, so staying within that framework. So if you've got a one side that's short, that's not going to be within it. So you want to lengthen yourself up into that framework. Remembering our head is most important on top of that. So thinking of your helium balloon, that favorite color of yours, maybe mine's blue today, and let that lengthen and lift your head out of your spine. So if you have a helium balloon that's not present, maybe this is where you sit, and if we're not as active as we are normally, there goes our posture. So the chin pokes forward, we slump in the shoulders, the spine bends, and you've got no lift. So just to correct that, let's think about the crown of the head growing up to the ceiling. And we can take an easier breath now as the spine realigns, looking for your natural curve. So thinking about an S shape. So if I try and give you a good example of mine, trying to think of the S shape, so you've got a little bit of a dip here in the small of your back, you've got the same idea in the back of your neck, and your chest is slightly rounded because that is the position of the rib cage, allowing your arms to work mostly in the front of you, which is how we practically go through our days. So if I was going to change my good posture, this would be me very happily going there, and I think most of you can relate to that. So what have I done? I've lost that curve in the back, I've flattened it, which then causes my head to have to try and adjust to that, and it pops itself forward. Okay, so think of yourself nice and long. Don't try and make it a hard effort, just lengthen and open up your breath. Get your breath here. So alignment, that's the one about the spine. Then we got to think about how we are in the spine, like I just showed you, the side position. So when you are thinking about lying down, lying on your side, lying on your back, where are your shoulders? Is one sitting a little higher? Can you bring those shoulders away from your ears? Let's drop them down, take the tension out, and then get them to relax. Hip position, we'll do that when we're lying down on the mat. But that'll give you an idea. Okay, so your feet now. So how do you know where to put your feet? Because I'm not with you, I can't get your feet in line, help you with that. So great little trick. When you're lying on your back, I'm just going to show you sitting, but same principle applies. You've got your knees together and your feet together. Okay, so it's a 3 movement to get your feet to finish exactly in line with your hips. So you keep your knees together the whole time, right until the end. That's only when you open them. So first position is, you're going to open your feet, the toes, like frog feet, duck feet, but the heels are still staying together. You keep those knees together, and you're going to bring the heels now in line with the toes, which now gives you kind of a knock-kneed kind of setup. So duck feet, knock-kneed. And then you open your knees at the end, and you will be spot on every time according to your hip width position. So practice that before we do the full video. So just to refresh, so knees and feet together, open the toes first, then the heels. Notice my knees are still together, and then you open your knees at the last position. So that'll work spot on every time. So please go ahead and just remember that, and hopefully you can bring that into class too when we return. Okay, so you've got your alignment pretty much sorted. I will remind you as we go through the different stages. Now breathing, hopefully you will manage to get a band. If you haven't, put your hands on your ribs or wrap your hands around as if you're giving yourself a little hug. So if you've got a band, let's take it and bring it around your bottom rib cage. So Jane Austen style, yeah? All right, so it's there, bottom rib cage. Now you're going to think of where can you breathe. So I want you to emphasize your breathing right down there where the band is or where your hands are. You're going to breathe into the sides of you, so you've got just enough tension to push the ribs out on your in-breath, And then on your out breath, let them sink back in. So let's do that. Breathe in, nice and wide. Breathe out, bringing it back in. So there's your lateral, so going out to the sides. You can do the same thing, thinking of moving a little bit in the front and at the back of the rib cage. So think of now a barrel, think of an umbrella opening and closing. So if we go into the front, comes forward and breathing out. Breathe in, pop those ribs front. Some of you going, yeah, I can do that for a change. And breathing out. You notice that when you breathe in the front, which is natural, you have a little bit of a lift and an openness in the front of the body. Okay, now the hardest one is going to the back. So let's put the hands on the front to stop that happening too much. And we're going to breathe into the back. So we're going to breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. So it's not a huge amount of movement. You've got more in the front than you have at the back, but do try and get that expansion out behind you. So we can all benefit from that breath depending on your posture. It doesn't matter. Get the rib cage moving. You want to get your breath all the way down into the bottom of your lungs to facilitate that good movement. And also, as we know, good breathing always helps with the relaxation in the body. So it's essential to the whole Pilates thing. So we've done our alignment, we've done our breathing, and now our centering, which is actually a little trick here. So I want you to get yourself to figure out where your hips are, where your ribs are. Now there's a space, that bottom rib. So you can feel with your fingers, or you can feel with a flatter hand to figure out where's that bottom rib. So the shape of your ribs come down like a V and wrap around you. Now I want you to get to that bottom rib and then find your hip bone. So when you get for your hip bone, it's easier. Actually go with your flat hand than trying to go with finger. You just find it quicker. So there, rub on that bone. Okay, there's your hip bone, here's your rib. Now in between, what we have is our oblique muscle. So it's not on the side so much that we want to be pushing. You want to come in a couple of inches. You're not in your belly button. You're not on the middle of you. So you're in between the belly button and the side seam of your shirt. So have a feel there. Get your fingers sinking in now. So you've got to be brave. You really got to push it in. So really point it in and get it into that soft tissue. And then, not that this is appropriate, but pretend to cough. I know you're not sick, don't worry, pretend to cough. So it's, did you feel something happen under the fingers? So you can laugh, you can cough, whatever, but can you feel some tension? Almost feels like your muscles are pushing up into your fingers, so it's kind of pushing away. That is how you can feel your deep postural core muscles. So you might remember I mentioned this in class, that it's behaving like a dimmer switch. So you think of a dimmer switch turning up to maximum, so you're nice and strong. If somebody pushed your tummy, they go, wow, that's really firm, because that's your maximum turn up. And you're probably going to pick something really heavy off the floor. That's when we use that. Or if you play rugby, you're bracing yourself for a tackle. But if you want to just work with it through the day, giving yourself a good sense of posture and your tummy working, you have that turned down a little bit, and it's maybe 1 to 10%. Okay, so it works like a dimmer switch. It works in an endurance capacity. It's a muscle that should be running pretty much all day long, and then it just depends on how high you turn it up and how low you have it. So it's there. By the way, it does a lot without you even having to think about it. So thinking about what that does, so if we brace, I'm going to say brace in the best way. It's the nicest term. It's not to stop you breathing, so just be careful. Don't turn it up so high that you can't breathe. Let's keep it nice and easy with your breathing and just feel that you can have that tone. So I really want you to practice that. That'll be really good to get you feeling that you've still got some tone in your middle. Okay, so there we go. I hope that makes sense. Run it through a few times, pause on the video and just see how you get on with it. If you struggle, just drop me an email and I can see if I can give you some more information. All right, otherwise, oh, towels, last thing, sorry, while we're here, just to save us time when we do the video, I hope you've all got some towels. All right, so you've got a hand towel And we got a bath towel. Now, depending on whether you use a very big cushion in class, so that's about 2, 3, 4 inches, you might need a bath sheet or 2 bath towels, or the bath towel and the small towel to give you the height. Okay, if you use the small cushion in class, then you only need the hand towel, because that folded up is going to give you about the same height, which is going to be about 1 inch. Alright, so there's the one. And then the other one, you just fold it up into a square that's comfortable for you. And we also do need to actually have the bath towel, because when we lie on our side and do our arm openings, you want to have that good support under your head. So don't think you don't need it. You just might only need it for when you're lying on your side. Or if we're kneeling, we can put it under the knees. Okay, so get yourselves with your towels ready. And I look forward to seeing you soon in our video. Let's hope YouTube plays ball and we can get it rocking for you. See you soon. Bye.